So we're going to talk today about Ethereum, what's happening in the world of Ethereum, and obviously my price prediction. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please do subscribe, hit the bell button, like and comment obviously. I hope you enjoyed my live yesterday. I hope it helped people kind of understand my feelings for the week. We're going to start off with a bang obviously, because what I've been talking about, what I've been kind of suggesting essentially is this level of Ethereum breaking above August 2018 levels. We've tapped it, we've tickled it, it's all good. So please understand what the magnitude of this chart would bring if this pops. I'm going to discuss that in other elements as well, because a lot of news is out, a lot of bullish stuff's out as well. There's a lot of things coming, a lot of good things coming. So as I say, with everything, just, do your bit of, research, looking at this. And when you start looking and retuning your brain to look at the BTC chart and you think dominance is dropping, cool. If you think, oh, this is undervalued, cool. If this pops, boys and girls, boom, we're going to shoot. So I will give you my prediction in a minute, but we need to go through some things that are happening in the news that makes it a bit more apparent to why we're kind of talking about this. So first bit of information dropped kind of yesterday. Ethereum will become a main asset for investors in 2021. Now, we've all talked about how slow and sluggish it is. The fees are obviously astronomical right now. But the element of all this is kind of important to understand that, well, it's popular. People want it. People understand that the virtual machine of Ethereum is not going to go away anytime soon, and it is just going to get bigger, better, stronger. There's a lot of proposals coming. It's going to make it better as well in terms of less fees, faster, ultimately better use case for the DeFi world, and most importantly, it's going to be much more accessible for people to build tokens on as well, which is always important. So when you understand that and the problems that it aims to solve, it's good, but it's also good for the entire industry, because I think an expensive Ethereum will always send altcoins berserk, because people will look for the alternative, the ones with the interoperability. There's going to be coins, in my opinion, that will benefit from Ethereum's shortfalls in transaction fees as well, which is always important. So when we talk about this, we're looking at all this. Look, we've got demand for developers. The demand for developers is ridiculous. It always has been, because it's so simple to use the ERC20 token. We're going to get a time, again, I know it's boring, but people will be buying and making shitcoins, and I mean this. So if you're watching certain channels and they are recommending this is my top coin for 2021, and you've never heard of it, it's probably an ERC20 token that's probably just been made, and it's probably a Uniswap coin, it's probably shit. So make sure you do your research. Now, that's a problem with ERC20 tokens. A vast majority of them are dog turd, right? It's just the way it goes, I'm sorry. But ultimately, it's a great launch pad for most developed coins. It is. And you see all these coins that have been on ERC20 tokens in the past that have now migrated to their own chain, fair enough. But we see a lot of them. And you can see here, the startups has slowed down since the initial coin offering boom. It went really, really high. It was scary. But it's still, you got to look at the element here. It's still got showing signs of growth, and I do believe, even though this is old data, it's still definitely up there with growth, because I always see that ERC20 tokens get adopted more than any other chain, because it's the easiest to get hold of. It always is. You got here obviously as well transactional volume, obviously Uniswap, the DeFi world. You got to think how much is locked up in DeFi. What, 25 billion now? It's scary. And you got to look at that and you think, well, where can it go? And already during 2020, 1 trillion worth of volume transactions were recorded on the Ethereum blockchain. That's huge, massive. And the problem with that is obviously high fees. Higher the Ethereum, higher the transactions, equal high fees. Sorry, but it still is bullish. You got DeFi sector, just kind of briefly turned on it there. So we are roughly up, as per this article, 23.2 billion. So in a matter of a year, we went from 687 million up to 23.2 billion. It's fucking mental. Realistically, it is. It's huge. Obviously, the current supply of stablecoins, majority of stablecoins are ERC20, the likes of USDC coin, the likes of obviously Tether, the DAI, all those are kind of going to help. So that is some bullish cases for why I think people probably still be interested in looking at this. And as I say, I'm a heavy investor in Polkadot, not because Ethereum is expensive, it's just because I believe more that the ecosystem of Polkadot will compensate and help the Ethereum network grow as well. Interoperability will be key, and popularity will always create a spillover. people will always look for the Ethereum killers, you know, the ones that will help Ethereum more than you ever believe. But ultimately, like any market, there's always going to be good, there's always going to be bad, there's always going to be competition. Competition is what you want. The next thing to talk about is, obviously following on here, is Aave. Hits a record level of demand, price. This is scary. Scary how big this is growing, and probably the biggest in the DeFi world. I've spoken about this a few times. I've obviously mentioned that I missed the boat on this massively, but this is one of the main catalysts and driving forces of why DeFi is so good right now and why it is so heavily led with Ethereum. Now, this is done incredibly well. As you can see here, the locked up value in Aave is through the roof. It's one of the biggest, right? It's massive when you think of it as an altcoin. When you look at the staking demand for this token alone, it's through the roof because of its API. It's decent. It's very, very good. And these loans and the collateral change in dynamic of the market, essentially, because you're not at risk with your Ethereum. It's like, what? It's crazy. And that's mental. But when you think here, the stablecoin followed by all the Ethereum-led stablecoins here, showing you the data of issued 25 million in loans in the first half of 2020, 500 million in Q3, and now nearly 1 billion in Q4, including 455 billion in December. That is monstrous growth, and I don't think people are kind of programmed to that fact that we are using this in the crypto world, and it's working pretty well, it's working pretty fine, and the use case is obviously there. We've always got to be careful though, you know, with DeFi and the new coins, the food coins, let's be honest, they weren't that good, but stuff like this that is working and continuously working, that's important to understand that we have a use case here. Yes, there's problems, yes, we know, but we ultimately, it's all about research, and this is probably one of the mainstays, and ultimately things are going to improve as technology develops and as newer things come online, as new collateral based loans and stuff like that where your Ethereum's not at risk. That's vitally important, and we're going to see more of it. We really are. So moving on to some technicals, as I mentioned before, right? If you are new to the space and you're thinking, what am I on about with the BCT pairs? When I first joined cryptocurrency, you know, Tether wasn't really a thing on exchanges. When I was looking at buying on Poloniex and Bittrex, it was just BTC pairs, right? You need to understand that this is the dynamite chart for now, right? If we break up and we do a 41% gain, for example, we're looking at over 2K anyways, but I think we're going to go much higher, in my opinion. I think with that rampant kind of move, and we've also got to remember as well, I've not mentioned this yet, the 8th of February, we've got the CME futures going to go live. That's a big thing. That's new eyeballs. That's new distribution. And we are starting to see more trust funds being opened to house and to hold Ethereum. The Ethereum-led project here of accumulation and what it is like with Bitcoin is starting to get to that point now when you think about it. What I mean by Ethereum-led is it's leading the DeFi charge. People want Ethereum. People want to buy into the DeFi world. And what we're seeing as well is a 15-month low of exchange volume. Not so much exchange volume, but the balance in exchanges of Ethereum is now at a low. 15-month low, that is savage. So people are removing their Ethereum off exchanges for safety, for cold storage, and probably most likely for lockups in DeFi and collateral. That's savage. That's good. So what we're going to start seeing here is probably a supply shock very, very soon. And we've seen it with Bitcoin in 2016, 2017, when we started to see changes in the dynamic of price. And I think the same thing's going to happen here with Ethereum. Every single Ethereum-based token is going to have some sort of liquidity to the Ethereum chain. That's cool. It's going to make things go further, the virtual machine of Ethereum. So when I talk about price predictions for the course of this year, I said 2K was probably quite good, you know, at the time, and I maybe probably under-delivered massively there, but I like to under-deliver because I don't want to get people's hopes up. But if we're talking here, let's talk about this price here, 109% gain from this high from basically May 2018. I think this is a sort of move that I think Ethereum will do in the next alt season, or the current alt season we're in right now. Why? Dominance is dropping. Bitcoin's cooling off as we want it to, but the DeFi space is getting monstrous. There's also all the updates coming with Ethereum over the course of this year is important. So, price prediction. if you think current live price is 1,300 and we're going to literally double that, we're looking at over $2,600 to $3,000 Ethereum if Bitcoin stays at around 30 to 31k. If Bitcoin dumps and goes to 20k, that will obviously change the narrative. But we are looking here at one Ethereum is worth 0.086 BTC in price parameters, right? So remember that. So, you know, this level here. So I will write it down because I know people will talk about this. You know, 0.086 in terms of sats in BTC value. I believe that this is going to be kind of the one to look forward to, the one to kind of get an interest in. The reason why I'm saying this as well, just to put it out there, if we look at this top and we look at this retracement, you know, we're looking just above that 618 level. I think this is vitally a massive level. So yes, we could obviously go higher. Imagine one Ethereum worth 0.1 BTC. Ooh, you know, that is scary. And when you think about that, supply-wise, it's not impossible. Definitely not impossible. We've been there before. But the thing is, Bitcoin is a lot more expensive. So that USD value will bring eyeballs. It will bring eyeballs massively. When you think a high Ethereum is going to create that spillage into the alt seasons, into the altcoins, into the DeFi world, we see it with Bitcoin right now. People are going, oh, Bitcoin's expensive. I want to buy this. You know, we're going to see that with Ethereum, especially with the other coins out there. So, price prediction, if we're looking at USD between $2,500 and $3,000, potentially in this alt season, running up to April, potentially if the dominance keeps dropping, and we are still dropping, essentially, we've been dropping significantly here. If we lose this 63% level, and we go down to 57, and we lose 57, we'll go down to like 53, down to 50, altcoins are going to be going rampant, and that would mean the breakout of this chart, boom, this Satoshi chart, happily, and we're going to start seeing a bigger element here. Obviously, ignore the noise here. You don't need to see that. Top tip, but use ratios. So we have broken a new all-time high there in fiat, but ultimately the one thing we need to worry about is where's it going to go next. I personally believe, in my honest opinion, we are going to get very, very interesting. And we think of that number and we look at these extension levels, what have we got up here? 2,200, potentially even high, you know, obviously going to be higher in further extensions, but Bitcoin needs to stay stable. It doesn't need to dump, it needs to just chill out, relax, and let altcoins thrive. So if you like this video, please do leave a like, obviously subscribe, hit the bell button, but most importantly, please don't FOMO. Still a high price level in fiat, but if you have spare Bitcoin, you may well find that this will grow.